everyone. Good morning. My name is Christina Pepper. Don't need to go through all that again, save us some time. So during this session, we're going to cover searching and filtering, family grid list adjustments, linking parents to children's records, moving members into a new family, transferring envelope numbers and contributions, updating the offering module, adding new celebrants, life events, merging records, and imports, and that's a lot. So I'm going to get through all that. But this was supposed to be a tips and tricks. So these are the tips and tricks that I've prepared. So I want to start out with the Ask the Expert to see if there's specific questions that you guys want answered, because all of these can be done from a video. So I can get you to videos. Yes?
In the offerings program, when it moved everything over, and I guess I'm new, so I was just learning the previous one when they switched over. All of my pledges are set for unknown statements. I don't know why. I don't know if it wasn't something in the other program or if the person prior to me just never used that portion. It's caused a few little glitches when I print my statements. Is there a way to like mass change that, or do I have to go pledge by pledge?
So is there a way, so the question is there a way to mass change pledges, or do I have to go pledge by pledge? So I would think that you would be able to do a correction batch. Let me see. So I would think, let's see, gotta get my mouse over there. If I go to offering, let's just check this out. So let me go into my settings. That's so tiny. Then you can't see other stuff when I do that. Settings, and to go to require pledge badges. Used to the save being at the bottom, and now it's up in the top. Save. So it's saved. So now if I go to offering, I just want to create a couple pledges. I'm pretty sure, well, actually before I do that, let me just go to my contributions. Contributions, and let's see if we can actually edit a pledge. Okay, so if I were to choose this, oops, and then that's not what I wanted. Go back, choose a little check mark, and go to here. Yeah, it doesn't look like you can change the pledge from there.
So I do have to go pledge by pledge.
If we go under pledges,
Okay.
yeah, it's kind of, yeah. Did you contact support about that at all?
I haven't contacted them because it's kind of, it's only when I'm doing my statements every month that I realize it, and I need to get them out, so I just do all of them. And then select only the ones that I actually have to mail.
Okay.
It's kind of annoying, but I know who they are now.
Right.
So it's easy. It's quicker for me to do that and get them out. Than when I need to find a minute to call them. But
Right. And in the previous system, in the previous system, we just chose the fund. We didn't choose anything like that.
yeah, and I don't
So I'm not sure.
anything like
Were
that.
were you always using Parasoft, or? Yeah, so it's not like it was an import from another program that was kind of stuck there in the background.
It imported it from Parasoft before they updated the.
Right.
And I don't recall ever having anything. I know, like, it crossed over all of, like, my months, like, the check, if, like, they only pay in October, they pay once a year only in October,
Mhm.
then they pop up in October.
Mhm.
But to get anyone from October, I have to select every single person who's due in October. The only problem with that is a lot of them now are going to automatic payments, so I
Right.
set them up through my bank to pay me. So I have to go through and I have to basically weed all them out, because I don't wanna send them a statement when they're paying me automatically. I don't
Right.
want any of them
Right.
requested statements. And it would be nice if I could just say only those who require a statement, because I think that's the option, it's like only those who get statements in the month of August or whatever. But I can't do that because all of my pledges say that there is no known statement month or something. I don't know, it's a small, tiny, probably insignificant.
No,
pledge
it's
to most
not.
people, but
Well, it's not, because it's something that you messes up your flow.
it's just kind of a,
Oh, that's going to be under donors. I always think that donors and then pledge statement report.
You need to explain that for the people listening.
No, I don't even understand it.
We don't do anything about the pledges.
You don't do pledges? So when in the previous system, she had pledges and they came over in the updated system. But for whatever reason, it's not,
telling it a statement type.
yeah. So here, you can choose the scheduled contribution. Here's the options. So you can choose, which one are you choosing?
Right now, I am choosing all expected gifts for statement month, the next one down.
This right here?
Yeah.
So, okay. So she's trying to view all the donors with expected gifts during that statement month, and it's not pulling everyone like it should.
Well, actually, the top one, the scheduled statements for year and month is the one I would like to use.
Uh-huh.
But it doesn't give me, if it says unknown statement, it doesn't. I have to tell it I need a paper statement. And to do that right now, I have to select all of them in that month, or else it'll skip my annual people, because I haven't updated all of them.
Okay. So I'm not, honestly, pledges is not my best. So I'm not sure why it wouldn't be printing them and why it would give you nothing found, the statement type not found.
It does, it gives me anyone I've changed to paper statement.
Okay.
And that's the problem, I'm slowly getting.
Slowly changing them to paper
Yeah.
statement. Okay, gotcha.
And I was just kind of hoping to get them all, so that I don't have to weed through all of them that don't want statements. I'd like to just get, and right now, the only way I've figured out how to do that, because I don't always know who my annuals are in each month. So what I've had to do is just go person by person, and just every single pledge, check on them, and then figure out, okay, do I do a paper statement, do I, what I'm doing for them.
So what I'd like you to do is send an email to training@parasoft.com.
Okay,
Okay? And when I get back to the office, I will try and find someone who can help you with that, because it may be as simple as us on our end, if things came over that way, being able to fix it on our end, so that way you don't have to manually go through and then they'll print properly. But if we don't ask, we don't know. Okay? And like I said, I don't know of a way to do a correction batch for that. But there may be something else. So just give me all the information that you gave me, and then I'll be more than happy to look into it for you and see if I can find something for you.
Parishtraining.com?
Huh?
Parishtraining.com?
Training@parasoft.com. That's me. So that'll get you to my address. And I have a personal email, but I always give out the training one, because if I'm training like this week, Monday through Thursday, I'm not in the office, so someone else is covering the mailbox for me, so that hopefully you won't have to wait until, after hours or later on. Okay, were there any other specific questions that you guys, yes?
when normal Sunday, so we would have a general offering or general fund. But within that, there's maybe one that goes to maintenance or whatever.
Mhm.
So that's not an issue, but on the business manager side of things, now when she pulls a report and she wants to know those odds and ends like Shepherd's Care, if it's created under the general fund batch, even though within there I choose the Shepherd's Care fund, it still doesn't pull up on her report.
So what report is she running? Do you know?
Not off the top of my head though. She just
So-
goes into reporting and then she would choose a fund,
Okay.
and if not,
So what you're saying is you don't have a separate batch for that particular fund?
right, not always. So obviously on our holy days, we'll create a separate batch. But every week we have a couple givers who give to something. And so I enter it under the same batch, because you have to, because that's how it's going into the bank.
Right, right.
But then within there, I select that separate fund, but then when she pulls her report, it doesn't show.
And is she just looking for a total for the fund?
She's looking for a total for the fund.
Okay, so she just needs, for that batch, here's the funds and here's how much went to each fund.
So she
Was
can
contributed.
look and say, okay, your numbers match what went into the bank.
Okay,
Then when she pulls a report saying how much of that batch was under general fund and how much was under maintenance fund, so she makes sure that those numbers also match, that's where she's not able to pull.
okay. So let me see if this solves the problem. So I'm gonna go to export and what postings. So if I'm in the program, it came up on this screen, of course it did.
Do you know, does it come up in the contributions reports correctly?
See if the batch is still open properly.
So under
The batch
contribution,
is not open, I close the batches right away.
It's okay.
shouldn't matter if it's
That's what
open or
I-
closed. So under contributions, you should have the total of the contribution amount, how many was, and what the total given to that fund was. Is that what she's looking for?
Yeah, maybe.
Because that's for the batch. That's for that batch.
So that's for the entire batch, so there's different funds in there. that-
Yeah, so there's retired religious. There were 2 retired religious and 21 offertory. Total of 950. So your total deposit to the bank was 1,035 cents.
Okay.
Okay? And of that, 950, what 35 was to offertory and $50 was to,
So what report?
or $100,
Yeah,
sorry.
how did
Yeah,
you,
I
you
remember
just
looking at that.
exported the batch, you didn't actually go to a report.
I did go to, well, the reports are under export now.
Oh.
Oh, so you're not really exporting it anymore?
No,
Oh.
no.
Okay, can you start from the beginning?
Sure, sure, I'd be happy to.
She integrated or not, or I don't really know accounting,
Are you integrated with accounting?
back and forth.
Are you using Parasoft accounting?
Yes, she is.
Okay, she is. So that's going to just give her a deposit to each fund. I mean, to each ledger account that you did. So depend,
Not using the Perry's family suite, she's just using the Perry's.
She's using the accounting,
and she's using Family Suite.
and I'm using family suite.
So when she closes the batch in Family Suite, it creates the deposit in Parasoft accounting.
Right.
And so she may just get, if both of those contributions go to the same
Main account.
main account, then it's going to create one amount for both, and you're not going to see which one it's going to go to.
So she doesn't see on the accounting end the breakdowns to the separate
Funds.
funds.
She needs to, so in order to do that, she has to go to family suite.
Correct. Correct. So what I did was I was in Family Suite, and it doesn't matter if your batch is open, closed, or in review. Doesn't matter. You can either, one, click on the postings to get to the posting screen, or there should be an export if you're on this screen.
So
Okay.
she has to go to whatever I name the batch to be.
Or what you can do, I don't know if it's easier for you, but what you could do is you could export it, and you just export it as Excel, and then send her the file.
So once I close the batch,
Once you close,
export it.
you don't have to close the batch, but yes, once you close the batch, you could then export that file for her.
And then it's down there.
So then it's down here, and then I open it up. And when it opens up in Excel, it's going to have 3 tabs: the batch tab, the pledges tab, and the contributions tab. So the contribution is your detail report like you used to have, and that gives you all of your contributions. Gives you all of your contributions, and then it gives you your funds and the total
Wow. I gotta write that down.
and how many. Okay, and you can get this when it's open, in review, or closed. Doesn't matter.
So, we're not integrated right now, we have accounting and the parish software. We have not, is there a button we need to push to do that? Or is there a place?
There's a couple different places that you need to do that.
But then, he still needs that broken down, so really, if we did integrate, it's not really gonna do anything. He's still gonna have to enter that, all the separate funds in, is that correct?
I'm not sure. Usually what they do is they put them under projects in Parasoft Accounting. They put a project code for it. So you would have $50 going to retired religious education as a project, because it's usually going to go into the same general ledger account. You don't have a separate account for each fund in Parasoft Accounting.
Do that accounting side, no, I just do the entries and.
Yeah, most of the time it's going to go to,
Typically, it goes to, like, all of our holy days go to our general account, but they all go to, like, our envelope collection. And our different, our
Right.
different budgeted things is what it goes to.
right. So then if you've got it broken out by cost center, then what's going to happen is they would just be able to match the cost center with the fund name. But they could use this report to match that.
Yeah, I have the same, my funds, names and numbers are the same on both.
Okay.
I just set it up because it's easier to do it that way. But
Okay.
then I don't export that into, I just do the deposit.
You just do your deposit manually.
Because there's 3 lines.
Got it. Got it.
You have to save that on your computer and then create an email and then attach it.
Yeah, so this one you would want to, you'd want to save it to your computer and then attach it to an email. Yep. Just enable editing and then save it, attach it. Did that answer your question?
Well, I just use a PDF and I give the accountant or business manager a copy of whatever went in.
Okay.
But there's no simpler way than giving him a copy of the Excel or the PDF to get him into the right funds for him. It's not gonna just automatically go into the religious fund or the parish initiative.
If you have it set up that way, then yes. But like,
The same accounting numbers on his side.
well, it doesn't have to be the same accounting numbers. I don't have the accounting integration set up on my demo, but what happens is under the revenue account, there's going to be under the fund. So if I go back to close out of here. So if I go back to the funds, and under funds, I choose a fund. So under here, there's going to be another line item for a revenue account. There's going to be another box for the revenue account. Okay? So that has to be filled in. And so when the revenue account box is filled in and you close the batch, it then puts that dollar amount to that revenue account fund. Creates a deposit to that revenue account fund for that dollar amount for that date. That's what it does.
And really something we have to set up.
Accounting, yeah, it's something, there's 3 different steps that you've got to do to set up Parasoft Accounting to integrate so that it completely does it for you. We've got a great help article that I'll be covering at lunchtime. Talking about at lunch, how you can get to it.
Is there something that specifically tells you, because I've been using, ever since you guys opened this offertory thing, I've been using Pathfinder. Is there like something in Pathfinder that walks you through that?
That walks you through accounting integration.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't believe so. I don't remember. It's been so long since I mean, I do hundreds of videos a year, so. But I could look that up for you if you want.
I think they have a search there too. I can
Yeah.
read that.
But there is a help article. So if I were to go to, now I'm giving away my tips and tricks for this afternoon, parishsoft.com, parishsoft.com/support. And I really like our knowledge base. Our knowledge base is pretty cool. So if I go to support and I'm going to go to down here to accounting, and I can then type in integration, enter, integration, and this is going to how record deposits through, how to integrate Smart Tuition. Let's see. Here we go. Oh, that's the database IDs. We don't want that.
I think it might have been that first one.
Maybe the first one?
Yeah, offerings module, family suite integrated. Says right in between the two.
Integrate with the county.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That's right. No. It should be able to click on this and should bring it up. Okay. So how to record deposits. So
Mapping revenues. Okay, so then you can probably click on mapping revenues.
new offering. So go to funds, then search for your fund, click on your fund, and then here you will find your revenue account. So that's where you would enter your PSA chart of accounts. But there's also other steps that you need to do. So that maps those. So how to integrate the databases. So there's different, you have to integrate the databases. So there's that one, turn them on, walks you through how you need to click on that in the one database. And then it takes you through the next one and what you need to click in the next. So the help articles give you the pictures, which I love, and the step-by-steps. And the help articles are also printable. So they're easy to print. Whereas the knowledge base is easy to print. Our help articles are not so easy to print. So, but that would walk you through that. Okay. Any other questions?
I have a really basic one on the home, on the family page.
Okay. Okay.
Father wanted me to ask this, is there any way to make the picture any larger? To be able to click on the family picture so that he can
Oh. The only way to do that is Control plus or Control minus on your screen. The Control plus makes your screen bigger. Control minus makes it smaller. But that's the only way to really get that bigger or smaller. There's no.
And I do have a question on there too. When you're entering sacraments, the priests aren't listed on there to pick from. I
Okay.
don't see that.
You have to add them.
Yeah, priests, if they're not in the diocese,
That.
huh?
I don't know.
So if the priests aren't listed in the diocese, you do need to add them. And under administration, so if you're the administrator of Family Suite, you go to administration, and then you go to lookups. And then under lookups, we're going to go to celebrants. And then here is where you would just click on the plus to add your celebrant.
Thank you.
Now, what a lot of people don't realize is that the administrator can reorganize this for the parish. Okay? So you're going to see the little move to the top of the list, move to the bottom of the list, move up one, move down one. So if I click on someone, let's just see Archbishop, I click on him and I move him to the top of my list. Okay? And then I click on another one and move that person to the top of my list. Okay, then once I've got them all moved, didn't move it because I didn't uncheck this one. Uncheck that one and move to the top because you have to do them one at a time. Okay, so once you've got them all in line and you can say I want to move that one down one, because maybe I don't want that one to be the first one.
So that's
Okay.
how they will appear in your pop-up?
Right, then you have to click Save List Order. Save List Order, but then for your parish, that's how that's going to appear in that lookup list. So you can have your priests and deacons up at the top, rather than having to type in or scroll through all of it. Okay, so that's based on your parish.
And I guess I'll see when I'm on there, do they have like deceased stuff? Because I'm going way back trying to get records updated.
They may not. It depends on what the diocese gave us. Okay, so one of the things, and I would have to talk to Scott about it, but one of the things that when I train, I like to mention that if it's someone that should be in the diocese that everyone should be able to see, then there should be a point contact at the diocese that you could email and say, please add this person. Because when you add the person at your parish, it only adds it for your parish.
Well, there isn't a point contact for our.
There isn't a point contact for diocese? Okay. So you're going to enter it
You'll
only.
waste your time if you try to find that.
Okay, all right, well, I'll talk to Scott about that later. But yeah, so you're only entering it for your parish and not the diocese. So they should really, I'll talk to him about that and see if there's a point person they can put in charge. Because if there's a new deacon or a new priest in the diocese, they really should be adding it to the database there so that y'all can find it in your databases without having to re-add it.
I just have a question, because when you're saying, we're attempting to split, right now we have our church,
Mm-hmm.
and then our priests also do Windsor, Buchanan,
Oh, you have more than one parish.
yeah. So our system, we're actually trying to divide it out so that it's the basilica and then those parishes, so
Mhm.
we can kind of start figuring things out and maybe organize it a little bit more.
Okay.
When we do stuff like this, does it change it for everyone or only the parish that's at the top?
That's only going to change it for the parish at the top.
Okay,
It's
so
only changing that parish.
we would have to do it for each person.
Is it-
each parish.
Is each parish listed on their own database? Do you have a separate login for
No,
each?
no, when you go to like our parish thing,
Mhm.
it's like St. James Basilica,
Mhm.
and then there's a little tab that you click and it opens it up, and then it shows like St. Matthias Windsor. It's how we set it up.
So are there more than, so like here, you
There's
can
more
click
than
on
one
this?
drop-down.
So here you can click on this and it would bring up more than one. Yeah, so each one would have to, you'd have to go into each one and put it in each one.
All right.
Because it's only done at the diocese level, so if someone at the diocese were to go in and add that, and you know, maybe that's something, a service that we can offer. I don't know, I've never thought about that, because if someone at the diocese doesn't have it, I mean, someone at support could go in and add it as a diocesan person, and then it would populate throughout the whole diocese. So, but yeah, right now you'd have to go into each one, unless the diocese did it.
So it looks like each one of those celebrants are at the same parish.
Well, that's because it's my database, but it's not like that.
So are we gonna need to go to 2 population boxes for the celebrant and one other for the place?
So if we're adding a new person,
Mhm.
and say we're recording something and they were baptized in Austin, Texas,
Mhm.
and we're just gonna put that information in our database.
Mhm.
So we're gonna add a new priest,
Right?
and and then we have to add their location, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Or the location that he was when he baptized
No,
that child.
you're just doing the name. So when you do the priest, all you're adding is, I believe, the name. Give me a second.
And then it comes up with an ID number.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it gives you the ID number.
So then you would just.
Every priest is
You might have multiple. So all you're adding here is the name. That's all you're adding in here. So this was all stuff that was populated from before, from some other system or whatever. So you're only adding in,
So you're really only gonna get the name?
correct.
You won't get the address and all that.
Nope. When you're under, if you are adding parishes, Because really on the certificates, it's only asking for the priest's name. It's not asking for where the priest was. It's asking for the place that it happened, where it happened. And so that's going to be under your home, and that's going to be in your organization directory. So in your organization directory, if you have a parish that's not in the United States or that's not Catholic, or a church that's not Catholic, you could click on the little plus here, and you could add that name, jurisdiction, and country. That's all you would have to add for it to appear on the sacrament certificates.
I've never printed certificates from Parasol.
Mm-hmm.
Have any of you? And how,
I haven't, but that's why I'm trying to enter all this.
okay, well, I've never done that, so is it pretty easy?
It is pretty easy, I looked up now and pulled exactly what you want, and then you end up pulling it and you merge it, and then I save it to a Word document, and then I fill in the rest.
So then it's just as easy to go to Word and put it in what you want. Okay.
It can be. What we suggest is start with your new people. You know, like if you're going to have a First Communion class, then get all their information entered. That way, going forward, when they make their confirmation, it's going to be in there, and you're going to be able to pull that information. I wouldn't go back and do history of your parish. Many churches don't have the resources to do that. But going forward, if you could, that's what I would do.
You must not know about snowstorms.
Oh, snowstorms? I don't.
The priest is stuck with the records.
Oh, so then the priest has lots of times because he can't go anywhere. That's how it worked. All right. So that's that one. Any other questions? Okay, so
Well, mine is way different than any of these questions.
that's fine.
When the two members marry, I don't know how to get them into one.
Oh,
Okay, merge.
yeah.
Okay, that's a great one.
Cool.
That's a great one. So, family directory, and get rid of some of these tabs so it's not taking up so many resources. Okay, so if I've got people, let's see, Jennifer and, oh, it's Marion. Let's see, who can we marry off? Let's see, move to 100 records. You guys know how you can filter and sort, right? And you can save your filters just based on your login. So here I've got it sorted by family, and it's sorting right now by family ascending. It tells me here if I wanted to go opposite, I could go family descending, change it there. I can also sort by envelope number. It's going to give me no envelope numbers, and then it's going to give me all of my envelope numbers starting towards the bottom. And then there's this little save icon right here, the save grid layout. So whatever you do to your grid, you can actually save that. But we want to find two people. So Steve Harmon is not married. So we're going to go to, so are we talking about moving them out of a family?
No, it's together, merging them together.
So are they in their own families right now?
Yes, they registered separately.
Registered as
And now
separate
they got
people.
married.
Registered as separate people. Okay, so I'm just gonna add a new family. New family, and
Sometimes they try to register as a couple and not married.
so I'm gonna just go ahead and add Daisy. And she's a miss right now. And she's gonna be the head, and she's gonna be female. And autofill names, and in there, and then save and add new. And then we'll put Donald in there. Donald search. And we'll add new family, and we'll autofill family names. What, mister? And he's the head. There we go. Didn't like that. They just happen to live at the same address. Though that happens sometimes, right? They haven't finished. Okay. So now I've got Daisy and Donald in the system. They're both in their own records. Okay, so if I go to, let's say Donald, so I'll look up Donald, duck. Duck. There's Donald and Daisy. But there was just, there should have been, from what I just added, remember this, there should be 4 ducks in here. Duck, duck. And there's Daisy, and there's Daisy. So Daisy.
Now, they're registered with 2.
Ah, they're registered with the last names of Pepper. How did I do that? Okay, so let's go to Daisy Duck, and we'll click on her. And so Daisy Duck, and so if I go to the member details, and I click Edit Details, there is an import. So import, and I can change tab and loose. I'm going to go to Duck, search, and where's my Donald? Donald Flauntlery. Should be a different Donald. Well, we'll just move him. Donald, and then say accept. Okay, so now I'm going to import him in here. And so at the bottom, I've got import, impart, and close, or change members. So I'm going to import. Member successfully imported. Click OK. So now I've got Daisy and Donald. And if I go back to that family record, Donald's no longer in that record.
Oh, okay. And then when,
How did you get them married?
Well, they're not married just yet. Well, his record was married, but once you put either edit details and then you can change that to married, or if you enter in the matrimony certificate, it'll automatically change this to married. So if you enter in the certificate, it automatically changes it, or the sacrament changes it automatically in here.
If he was the only one in that household that you took him out of, you have to go to that record and inactivate it or unregister it or whatever you
Or
need
does
to
it
do
go,
so that
it
it's
doesn't
not.
go away?
Mm-mm.
No, it doesn't go. He still would be listed as the head in that family. He wouldn't be here, but he would be listed under the family details if he was listed there before.
If they end up having kids and stuff
Mhm.
and get divorced years down the road,
Mhm.
do the kids follow the parents?
So the kid, so what you would do is you would export to a new family. So if they get divorced, then you would export Donald or Daisy, whoever the kids are not staying with.
Oh, so they wouldn't be under both?
No, they're not under both. They're not under both, but they will be listed under both under the member details. So under general, under the member details, it's going to list the father's name and the mother name. So when you export Donald out, okay, the kids are going to stay with mom, Daisy, but then when you go to print the records, it's going to pull, for Sammy, it'll pull his name as the father and his information as the father. When you do religious education information, it'll pull his name as the father.
And that's the same for young adults, once they move out of the parents' households. And that's how you start their, the young adult, you move them out of mom and dad's household by doing it this, well, you do it a little bit differently, but it's the same, kind of the same
So even if
process.
they don't come in and register formally, you can set them up.
Yeah. We sent a letter to them, to our young adults a couple summers ago, saying that, we see your age, whatever, do you still consider yourself a, member of Blessed Sacrament, or not? And based on their responses, we gave them a new number, or we said they were inactive.
Yes.
So while we're on that page,
Uh-huh.
where it says envelope ID number,
Yes.
hey, every time I put the number in there that it's supposed to be, it says, no, it's already taken by someone else.
Well, that's because it probably is.
Because it's probably on the family page,
Correct.
and so why is it on this page?
Because some parishes have envelopes at the parishioner level, at the individual level. So sometimes they do that for young kids. Sometimes they do that for maybe if they're a married couple, they don't want an envelope, they're filing jointly, separately. So then you could give each of them an envelope number as opposed to having it on the family. Or you could give them a family envelope number and individual envelope numbers. Just gives that option.
Okay, we're not that advanced.
Okay.
I have a question on that level.
Yeah.
So I couldn't use probably the envelope numbers because we have started to record for our children.
Mm-hmm.
We do a kids collection and we do offer envelopes to them. They're not the same as the adult ones that come on whatever.
Mhm.
So I couldn't use those numbers, but I could probably then use this program to record it.
Yes, and then I would just make sure that you don't check send. If you check send envelope, then what's going to happen is those are going to be printed when you send your envelope. If you're using the system to generate your envelope number report for your vendor,
Yeah.
that would print that on there. So as long as send envelope is not checked, and you can do that. You can say, you want the next envelope, we'll say okay, and then I can then uncheck it. You can even put in, so do I want to set the envelope number to 0? No, because I want to keep that envelope number. Okay, but you could even put envelope numbers, you'd have to keep track of them individually, but you could some churches start at like 500 or 5,000, a number that they would not get to, okay? And then they would put all their kids' envelopes at those numbers. But if you give them an envelope number, you could keep track of it in here.
Envelopes don't have numbers on them.
Well, they have envelope numbers because they get a number based on we order like 160
Right,
boxes.
and then there's a
And
number.
there's a number that goes with that. And right now, I'm keeping track of it in an Excel spreadsheet because I don't always know the kid associated with the number. But
Yeah, I would.
if I do, it would be nice.
Yeah, you can keep it in here, and then you could run a list of everyone who has
And then I could also
send envelope
send
unchecked.
them a contribution thing at the end of the
Yes.
year.
And
Yep.
that would go under the parents then.
Yes, that would go into the parents.
So,
Well, you can run the contribution statement by families and include members, or just families, and then members separate. So you can run them that way. So it depends on how you want to run them. But in your situation, I would run them families and include members. Because that way the parents will be able to get credit for the kids' contributions. Or if you wanted to, you could run families, and then you could run a separate one for members so that the kids would actually get the letter, and then the parents would then just put that in with their taxes, you know?
especially this year, we did a memorial and we had children who donated, like for their birthdays, all they asked for was money to donate to the grotto. So we
Okay.
got like, one kid raised $400 and some
Awesome.
for the grotto. So it
Awesome.
would be nice to send those out to the kids.
Yeah, yeah. And you could actually send one included with the families could be included, and then you could run a separate one just for the kids. So you can do family and members included. So that's the parents just get one that are going to go to the IRS, and then the other one you could send one for just the kids.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
right.
So if you just have the accounting, you don't have this,
Family suite. If you don't have this family suite,
yeah.
okay.
If you just have the accounting part of this, you can't do any of that.
Right. This is all family suite. Yep. This is all family suite. It's a membership. Keeps track of your census and offering and religious education and things.
If you have multiple parishes, is it easy to keep parishioners separated out?
So each parish is going to be listed. So let me close this. So if I happen to have access, if I'm a priest and I have access to more than one parish, the different parishes are going to be listed up here. So I just,
Those in as your organizations or whatever?
that's based on your administration rights. So as the priest, you would have administration rights to multiple parishes. Okay, so those would be listed here. So if,
Is it set up when you buy one?
no, it's all access rights. It's all access rights. So the administrator, if you are the administrator, you can give yourself access rights at 3 different parishes. Okay, if you're the administrator there.
Get into the program originally.
They go to the URL. There's a specific URL that they go into. Everyone does. And then based on your login and your password, that's what permissions you have access to.
So Diocese of Fargo, it's really, they're tapping the Diocese of Fargo database.
Correct. Yes.
So you'd have 3 separate logins?
No, you'd have one login. You have one login and then you just have to choose what parish you want to work in. So if you're entering offering, you choose that parish. So no, it's just one login that you got to remember.
I've never worked with this, so I
Oh.
don't know anything about
Okay.
it. So I'm just
Okay.
checking.
Yep, it's just one login for all 3 parishes. It's all based on your permissions. Okay? Because in the database, you've got your family, and the family has a number. We call it a DUID, Diocese Unique ID. And then each member has a member DUID, which is a member. So when you're adding permissions, they would find your member DUID, and they would add the permissions to your member DUID. Okay? And then find your member DUID in the next parish and add your permissions. And that way when you log in, you'd see all 3, or however many you had access to. Okay?
So for our diocese, for example, I didn't know the background of it either. But like, let's say Father Chris gets his parishes into Parish South.
Mhm.
They would just be dropping in his parishioners that the diocese has a file at any one given time.
Well, so,
And then he'd start adding or subtracting people.
right. So you would go to family lists, and then you would go to add new family. And then under add new family, you would search for the name. Okay, and then that's going to bring up a list of people in the diocese with that name. Now, this happens to be a training database, so I've got Dave and Nancy in here 30 times, okay? Because when I teach, I like to make sure that everyone sees exactly the same thing. Otherwise, someone's like, they question and everything. But you can use this to scroll over and see their address, city, state, zip, phone, okay, to see some.
Access to the diocese?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing there. There's nothing there.
Oh, the Diocese of Fargos doesn't have any. Oh,
Yes, yes.
oh, so you guys,
I don't think we have access to that. I think I entered everybody.
you entered every. Okay, okay,
And, you know, it makes you do a search.
it does.
There's never,
Okay.
once I found somebody.
Okay.
But no, there's nothing there.
Probably because not every church
Yes,
uses it.
correct.
Okay.
Not everybody
It'd be a
uses
lot
it.
easier if everybody did.
Is it also, is it possible to import an Excel spreadsheet for that? You got a list of families?
Yes, yes.
What would that be all?
So, yeah, it would be a professional services request to import that. So, I think it's $250 an hour. But if, some parishes were to get together and send everyone their list and contribute $25, you might be able to get it all in there so that you could see it. So that is something that's
I can see
feasible.
where it would be handy, because then if someone moves from,
Yeah.
one town to another, they're changing parishes, and if all I had to do was find them there and pull their information in, but it doesn't work that way.
Okay.
Not here.
Well, I know when the diocese started using Parasoft, I was using QuickBooks, and part of the service was they integrated my QuickBooks information into the program.
Right.
That was just part of the.
Right.
That was
You were here when
Way back
we
when.
started.
Yeah.
All right, well, we have only, we've gone over. So just so you know, if you did want to get information on the things that I did have on the agenda, I prepared that in case I didn't have any questions. Okay, so I could go through some things. So those are in your handouts, and those screenshots and how to do things are all in your handouts. And if you need additional information, please feel free to email training@parishsoft.com and ask me for specifically how to do X, Y, Z, and I'll send you the video as well as an article.
And how do we find this date? That's what you just said. Go to training and you'll send a video.
Yeah, training@parishsoft.com, and just remind me that you were part of this and this is what you're looking for, and I'd be more than happy to get it to you.